that vinegar can be used in almost every room of your home. And with that being said, today we are going to be going over some staples to have in your kitchen and to also have for cleaning and home living stuff, especially during this time. My name is Desiree Romero. I work at Savvy Services for the Blind in Tucson, and I've been working as an independent living skills instructor for about 4 years now. I will be reading off of a document, so please excuse any advertent looking at my thing while I'm reading. I'm paying attention to you guys, but I'm also paying attention to the information because it's not all in here. Okay, so there's some must-have cleaning essentials to have during this time that you should probably have stocked on the side just in case you run out of like your simple green or Clorox wipes and stuff like that. And a lot of these are natural cleaning ingredients, so they can be used on their own or in any number of like do-it-yourself kind of natural cleaning product stuff. I'm sure there's videos everywhere of how to kind of use all these different things to clean pans in your kitchen and your bathroom and stuff like that. One of the first ones is baking soda. Baking soda works best on proteins, grease, and animal messes. And because it's only slightly abrasive, it can scour surfaces without fear of like scratching it. It's also a natural deodorizer, and it's less expensive than commercial scrubbing powders. So you can use it in the refrigerator. These things get a little like smells kind of get into different foods, and your cheese is supposed to taste like cheese, but now it tastes kind of like garlic cheese. And that's what baking soda kind of helps out with. But it also can be used like with vinegar and things like that to help out with more tough situations. Next thing is distilled white vinegar. It works on alkaline substances by dissolving scale, inhibiting mold, and cutting soap scum. A mild acid is terrific for removing coffee, rust, and tea stains. It's typically sold at a 5% concentration, but it's more effective at higher concentrations. So pay attention to like those little kind of details depending on how big the job is that you're looking to go and do. Hydrogen peroxide is another one. It's water with an extra oxygen molecule. It breaks down into harmless oxygen and water, so it's more eco-friendly and alternative to chlorine or bleach. Borax, that's another one, is an alkali that's good for cutting grease, oil, and dirt, all of the wonderful things that ruin our cleaning days, so much more. Essential oils, those are always good to have. Tea tree oil is great. Lavender is great. Eucalyptus, lemon, lemongrass enhance the cleaner scent. So we all know vinegar does not smell the greatest, and sometimes adding a little bit more of essential oils can make it not smell as bad, but it can also add a nice essence around the house, like a clean home smells when you have lemon scent everywhere and you know you had a nice spring cleaning day. The last thing is Castile soap. So it's available in liquid or bar form, and it helps rinse dirt away. It's made with olive oil or vegetable oil base, and it's available unscented or scented. So those are all kind of good things that you can use in different ways. A lot of this information I got from online in my researches, and you can kind of look all these different ways, especially if you have specific stains too, because I know some of those can be really hard to kind of take off as well. So we're going to dive in with my fun fact that I started out with, and we're going to go into vinegar and why vinegar is such a versatile thing to have and how it can be used in pretty much any home, like any room inside your home. Vinegar's acidity is what makes it good. We kind of talked about that right now. It can counteract some like icky buildups and dissolve away soap scum, brines, hard water, glue, left behind stickers, and you can always make a paste of vinegar and baking soda, and it can dissolve like really set in stains. In the kitchen area, you can use vinegar for the refrigerator. A lot of times vinegar is better to use in the refrigerator, although I know it smells really bad. It's better than kind of using Clorox, because that really big chemical of Clorox can come in and you don't want to eat your cheese that kind of tastes like garlic, and now it kind of tastes like Clorox. So when you have that, it kind of takes it in. And of course, you can use the baking soda to soak in all of those extra stuff. But vinegar is a lot more natural, especially when it's in a place where you're going to have all your food that you consume and you eat and you cook with. Another thing that you can use it for is your drains. They get smelly. You try all these things sometimes. You just pour it into a scrub brush small enough to get inside the disposal, sprinkle the brush with baking soda, and then just scrub to remove all the odors and the buildup and the grime. If you are like you have a garbage disposal, I know that lemons, like if you get lemons and cut them up and put them in there, sometimes those help with that strong odor as well.
That's good.
Cutting boards, you can also use vinegar on cutting boards. Like white vinegar is good. A lot of times when you're cutting through, you're making small cuts on the cutting board as well. So that buildup of the product is kind of getting cut and pushed into it. So kind of soaking your cutting board sometimes, or really washing it with something like vinegar, can help diminish some of those bacteria that get set in there as well. Next thing is the microwave. Oh, Scott's also on here to help me see if there's any comments below, because I'm also reading on the side. So if anybody has comments, Scott will be here to let me know. Thank you, Scott. Just in case anybody comes on here, let me know. I can talk forever, guys. So in the microwave, you can have cleaning with white vinegar isn't limited to countertops. You can also get those hard microwave splatters that get everywhere. And you can do that by placing a half a cup of vinegar and a half a cup of water into a glass microwavable bowl. And you microwave it for 2 to 3 minutes or until it boils, and then you wipe it up. So what happens is it heats it up, and as it's heating it up, it's kind of evaporating it. So it creates like all of it's getting soaked into the area around, and it really kind of breaks it down as it's making it all diffused. Stained plastic containers, we all know when you're meal prepping and doing stuff like that and you throw in the microwave, it kind of gets those stains that are left behind. You can coat the plastic containers in vinegar and let it sit for a few minutes and then wash it as usual. This also helps with smells. I know I've had a couple of encounters with forgetting I have leftovers that are in a Tupperware container inside my fridge, and then eons later I come back and I'm like, whoa, that's still there. It smells horrible. Maybe I should just throw the whole thing away. If you don't want to keep throwing out your forgotten Tupperware containers, you can always just let it soak in there. And vinegar is not going to smell great, but it's going to smell better than probably what's in there. And it'll kind of not only take away those set-in stains and all of that stuff, but it'll also take away that smell. So the next time you heat up your food, or if you do store it for something else, it's not going to have that background kind of scent to it. And I mean, if worse comes to worse, you have to throw it away. It's okay. You throw it away. And then countertops, of course, cleaning with vinegar. You just spray vinegar onto the surface and wipe it away with a warm or a wet rag. Just avoid cleaning countertops with vinegar if you have granite or marble surface, just because it might be a little too acidic for those ones, and you don't want to ruin those really nice countertops for those parts of it. You can also use in the bathroom. So just general bathroom cleaning, you can use straight or diluted vinegar to kind of get all of those bacteria away. Right now, bacteria is enemy number one on top of everything else. So making sure we kind of keep these things up is really important. With the toilet, you can use baking soda and vinegar. They really do help kind of let it sit overnight and get everything out the next day. You can use it in the tub and in the shower and on the shower head. Like I had said before, it takes away some of that soap scum and that buildup. In Arizona, we have really hard water, and that does really build up over time, and sometimes it can clog things or things might get stuck. So letting those items soak in it or cleaning with them overnight can really help bring them back to where they were when they started. You can actually use vinegar in the bedroom. I didn't know this before, so you can use it as a mattress disinfectant. You mix distilled white vinegar, a little rubbing alcohol, and some tea tree oil in a spray bottle, and you just lightly spritz your mattress to help combat like dust mites, mildew, and just general odors. And for a deeper clean, you can follow with dusting like baking soda, let it dry, and then vacuum the mattress surface. That's if you just really want to get in there. I didn't know you could use that before. This is why vinegar is just all over the place today. Laundry. So laundry is a good thing. A detergent booster. So if you're using vinegar in your laundry, it can help protect the colors and remove excess detergent residue. To set colors and reduce the fading, like wash colored towels and clothing with about like half of the recommended amount of detergent plus a half to like a whole cup of white vinegar. Fabric softener, you can also use it instead of fabric softeners in laundry. Someone had suggested like it softens the clothes and removes the static at a fraction of the cost as some softeners that you get at the store. You just add like a cup to the final wash or like the rinse, the water. I had this same training with our staff, and one of our staff brought up a really cool thing where if you kind of forget your laundry in the washer and you want to take that like mildew kind of buildup smell because you forgot it in there for like a day or two, you can add just a little bit of vinegar in there, run it through the regular wash, and then it should be fine. I thought that was really cool because I am one of those who sometimes forgets I have things in the washer, you know, going crazy, doing all these different things all the time. So that's a really good little tidbit as well. In the living room, you can use it to clean glass. You can also use it to clean wood furniture. So you can use a 1/4 cup of white vinegar mixed with 1 cup of olive oil. There's a lot of stuff, sorry guys. Plus a few drops of lemon or orange, if you wish, to clean and condition wood furniture. That's a really cool thing because I thought it wouldn't help with that. Area rugs. Rugs are always interesting because we don't really pay attention to them. We just vacuum them, kind of go away. Vinegar kind of helps remove stains and clean the area rugs because they get stepped on all the time. So they do collect a lot of the outside and all the tracking that we do with our shoes and stuff. So if you want to really make sure it does get cleaned, you can mix 1 teaspoon of mild dishwashing liquid and a 1/4 teaspoon of vinegar with 1 quart of warm water and apply it to the carpet stain. You just let it sit for 10 minutes before blotting it away. You can also use it to clean the floor. So there's carpet odor and dust mite remover, carpet rinse, carpet and pet odor remover, and like wood floor wash. So if you have wood floors, you can add a 1/2 cup of vinegar to a gallon of water, and you can clean wood and laminated floors. It might not smell as pleasantly, but it is working. Vinegar is a lot cheaper than some of the other things that they have out there right now. So it does kind of work in that way. I'm gonna take a second, check, see if there's comments. Hey, Tristan. There's my comments, guys. All right, so we're gonna keep going. Everyday objects that you can clean. You can make your own homemade cleaning products. So you can make an air freshener. So you can add a 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar to a 4-ounce spray bottle and then fill it with distilled water plus a few drops of your favorite essential oil. So make sure if it smells how you like it, you can have a nice air freshener. Also have window cleaners. We just talked about that one. All-purpose cleaner. I feel like vinegar is just already an all-purpose cleaner as it is, but if you want to use it like as a regular spray bottle all-purpose cleaner, you can mix 1 cup of vinegar, 2 teaspoons of borax, 4 cups of hot water, 5 drops of liquid dish soap. Sounds like we're making potions. 10 drops of tea tree oil, and 10 drops of your favorite essential oil. It says optional, but if you want to use it as an all-purpose cleaner kind of thing, make everything smell like how you would like it to. You're
coming up to 14 minutes, just to give you a heads up.
So how to save your paper products. I know a lot of times right now it's like things are getting sold out, paper towels, toilet paper, all of those different things. So for paper towel parts, I have talked with a couple of students about designating a rag to different areas to clean to kind of save on that paper towel usage. So having a rag that you clean your kitchen with, all of your counter surfaces, having a separate one maybe to dry your dishes with. The only thing is if you are using rags and if you are cleaning daily, like if you're cleaning your bathroom daily, if you're cleaning your kitchen daily, you're going to have to clean your rags that you're using daily as well. The buildup of the bacteria on them that you're using for all of these different surfaces builds up really fast, especially if it's a nice cloth that's going to be sitting there. So if you clean your kitchen once a week and your bathroom once a week, wiping everything down, then that's the one day a week that you can use your rag to, go wash it and make sure that you bring it back so the next week that when you do your regular cleaning, you can have it there ready for you. When you do wash them, they should be machine washed in hot water with soap and bleach if they're white. If they're colors, you can use peroxide containing soap for sanitizing colored clothes. Those are just to make sure that it gets all of the icky stuff out that you just cleaned all of it up with. So other things, if you don't want to use that, you can use a sponge. They called things like a sponge's life. So sponges start out nice with all of the dishes and then they get worn out. So you kind of have to get a new one. And instead of maybe throwing the sponge away, you can use it for counter areas after that and making sure that's just what it's used for. And then from counter areas, you can just demote it again to floors and then it can go away forever. So that's kind of that part. The only thing with sponges is that they also do take in a lot of bacteria. So making sure that you're not spreading bacteria and you're also cleaning your sponges. A different tip with sponges is making sure that you rinse out all of the soap after you've used it to clean your dishes. So that way you can have like clean dishes and it doesn't get really hard and doesn't build up more bacteria on top of it. So you're not cleaning your dishes with a bacterial previously cleansed sponge. A question that I had before was how to make disposable wipes on your own. I know Clorox wipes, they're everywhere. They're expensive. They're really good. They have a lot of uses and purposes. So if you want to make your own, you can use a paper towel roll. So you get one roll of paper towels, a third to a half a cup of bleach, and a gallon of water, of course, to dilute it. And you want a tall, airtight container large enough to fit a paper towel roll, and use a container that has a lid and make sure it's not just like for storing food. So like after you do this, you don't go and use it for food or beverages or other things like that. You want to just have it just for this one purpose. And gloves, of course, because you're going to be handling bleach. You just put that all in there, you let it sit overnight, and then you have your own paper towel Clorox wipe roll. If you want to do reusable ones because you don't want to keep going through paper towels, you can get small microfiber kitchen cloths, and it'll be the same measurements, a third to a half a cup of bleach, a gallon of water, and a tall airtight container with a lid, and you just have them soak. And then you have these reusable cloths, of course, that you can just kind of wash when you're done washing, like cleaning your surface areas, and then you can put them back in the container so that way they can be reused for that if you don't want to go through a bunch of paper towel rolls for that part. I'm going to check to see if we have any questions.
No questions.
Okay.
So if you want to wrap it, you can at any time.
So the next thing that we're going to go into are some food substitutes. A lot of items are missing from stores, and sometimes it feels like, well, what can I do? What am I going to do with? So one of the things that's missing that a lot of people have been asking about is yeast. You can actually substitute yeast with equal parts of lemon juice and baking soda. So if a recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of yeast, you can use half a teaspoon of lemon juice and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Just keep in mind that the bread will not need the typical proofing time and the dough will begin rising right away. So if you're out there and you're just like, well, I can't find bread, or I just want to make my own bread, that's something that you can kind of use to cook with, or if any kind of need with that. Another thing that was brought up were egg substitutes. So when you're substituting for eggs, albeit for they're not in the store, or if you have dietary restrictions, it just depends on what you're using the eggs for. So eggs can be used for binding, leavening, moisture, and just flavor and appearance. So one of the things we discussed was if it's used to add Moisture, you can add like oil. So it's like 1 tablespoon of oil per egg. Or if you're using it to bind, so to make sure all of the ingredients are coming together and they're sticking together, you can use like a 1/4 cup of applesauce. So 1/4 of applesauce is 1 egg. And that's really good in the sense if you want to try something else, applesauce is cheap, oil is cheap, and both of those you don't have to worry about running out of those. Another thing that was discussed is how long do eggs usually last and how can we tell when they're bad? So if an egg is bad, you can get a tall glass, fill it up with water, and if you drop the egg in there and it floats at the top and you feel it, you know it's probably bad. If it's good still, it'll sink to the bottom of the glass. So that's one way to tell. A lot of times eggs it'll have like a week or so or like a month or so on the expiration date, but to kind of check to see if you're still able to use it, those are some little tips to kind of go from there. When eggs go bad, they kind of get solidified in the middle and they just turn into like these little mini maracas. But we don't want to be eating those. We want to be eating eggs so that way we can survive and things like that. If there's anything else that we have on here. I'm sorry, I'm looking.
Doing a great job. You're doing a great job. 20 minutes.
There's Scott. Scott's telling me all these things, my encouragement. So other substitutes that we have for eggs that you can use, of course, like I said, applesauce. You can use mashed bananas. You can use ground flax seeds or chia seeds. You can also use a commercial egg replacer. You can find those. Silken tofu, vinegar and baking soda. There you go with vinegar again. Look at him. Vinegar is going all over the place. Mixing 1 teaspoon baking soda with 1 tablespoon of vinegar can replace 1 egg in most recipes. So most recipes, apple cider vinegar or white distilled vinegar are popular choices. When they're mixed together, vinegar and baking soda start a chemical reaction that produces carbon dioxide and water, which make baked goods light and airy. The substitution works best for cakes, cupcakes, and quick bread. So if you're kind of running out of stuff or you're trying to put stuff together and maybe you forgot to get it on your last trip and you have those items that are there, those are a good way to kind of put them together. You can also use yogurt or buttermilk. I know that there was a kind of debate over like what you can use in case you run out of buttermilk. Buttermilk doesn't smell the greatest, but that's because that's how it's supposed to smell. If you don't have it, you can also use vinegar and whole milk. So you want to use like the measurement that it's called for, and then like a tablespoon of vinegar, and it'll kind of churn as you let it set on the side until you're ready to use it. And then once you put them together, it'll come out the way it's supposed to. Or you can use lemon juice too. Lemon juice kind of does the same churning kind of effect with it, so that way you can get that buttermilk as well. You can substitute them for eggs as well. Arrowroot powder. I don't know if that's really common, but that's another thing that you can use for that.
Ready?
Okay, so do you have any tips?
Do you have any tips for hard-boiled eggs in a way that it still keeps the egg whole like you would for the W's? So how would you tip peeling hard-boiled eggs?
When I do hard-boiled eggs, I typically have them boiled and I'll have a bowl of ice cold water on the side. And as soon as I take them out of the boiling water, I'll pop them in there. And when I go to peel them, I'll have a hard surface like the counter and I'll kind of crack it and roll it across the counter so it cracks it all the way around. And that kind of makes it a little easier for peeling. Sometimes I'll use a strainer in the sink while I'm rinsing off any of the excess shells that are in there. That usually works for me. I love deviled eggs. So that kind of helps, especially with making that process just a little bit easier because it does get kind of iffy with that. The running water over it helps with like a feel more for getting that extra shell off and feeling the smoothness of the egg to make sure that there's no little shells that are still there because those little shells stick around So I hope that answered your question, Katie. Let's see if we have any more questions.
I think that's it. So.
All right. So other things that you can use for, there's so many other things for eggs. Not a lot of these ones are a little bit more common, but I will see if I can get this lecture up. I got a lot of these information from like Healthline and different resources online. Some of them I use different webpage to see the commonalities between them. So if you have any questions or if you want to reach out, my name is Desiree Romero. You can comment back on this post. I'll see if I can put up the other stuff on there. I don't know if there's any other questions out there. This was a lot of information. I hope you go out and buy vinegar now because it can be used for everything. And yeah, so thanks, guys. Welcome. I hope you lunched hard and you learned a lot. So thanks for joining me. Bye, everybody.
Great job.